the only thing I can do is keep them out of my house because I hate them at this point. The first set of ants I ever saw were the first night that I ever spent the night here. I was in the front room, which is now my bedroom, but originally was the living room. And I saw ants crawling around on the floor, but the house was empty. I thought, oh, that's no big deal. I'll just take care of them when I get in. But then I wasn't looking for ants. I mean, that was the least of my problems. I was looking at foundations and everything else. So there was no reason to actually look for ants. We moved in February, and we actually had a pretty dry season. It was a little bit of rain, but not too much. So we didn't actually start having an ant problem that I even began to notice until summer, and we moved in February. So. And that's where it started getting really strange. So I noticed the ants in the backyard. There were just tons of them in the backyard, and that started making me nervous because I thought of the trash cans in the backyard, and I thought, oh, you know, we got to do something about these. And so I tried a few things. I put out a little bait to begin with to get rid of them, but because of the kids, I am limited to, and there was a lot of cats, wild cats roaming around in the area, and so I was limited to the kind of poisons that I would be willing to put out. I think that the traps are a complete waste of money. But I found other killing methods.
Spray bottle, which is made up of the Clorox bleach, fresh water, and Ajax soap. So the second part of it is this, which is basically a liquid ant killer, poison on that one. And then there's the diatomaceous earth, which I use and spread around as liberally as I can along most of the walkways that are where the trails end up being. And then of course on this one, this is the final result, which is if I find a hole that they're streaming out of, I will take 3-in-1 oil and pour it down it.
I'm spreading on diatomaceous earth. I'm killing them instantly with the solution. I'm killing them by hand every time that I walk out the front door, in the backyard, every time I take a step. It's not getting rid of where they're living. I've stopped killing any spider that I find in the house because they actually kill them. And I've got one spider in my bedroom that has killed several hundred, and I'm really happy for this spider because it keeps them off. It's hidden in the corner of the windowsill and in the corner of the building, and it has just done a great job. So if I could have a few thousand more of those, I'd be in really good shape. I wouldn't have to, of course, I'd have to live with a house full of spiders. Well, my preferred method on the ones that I found outside is when you pour gasoline down the ant colony, and then they'd all come running out, and then you torch the ant colony and they fry as they come running out, and it kills the ant colony. Although sometimes I use lighter fluid, which actually is much easier to handle. When a colony is getting drowned out, the first thing they do is they grab the eggs and run. And so you will see streams of ants pouring out of a location, all of them carrying the little white egg casings off to some other location. And at first you say to yourself, wow, this is really cool. And then you say, wow, they're going to set up a new colony somewhere. And it's like, we got to get rid of these things now. They're just thousands upon thousands of eggs that are laid. If I know that it's a colony and I can get rid of them, I mean, that means I've gotten rid of them all. That means I've gotten all of the queens. It means I've gotten rid of this colony. I use my solution on the ants to kill the first ones that I see and kind of neutralize the area. And then the next thing I would do is take dish soap, pour it on the area, and then I would flood the area. And then I will take a shovel or a spade and make sure I dig up the earth so that the water will saturate it all the way down so that they will completely drown. It's just the easiest way to do it. And then after I'm finished, I'll take diatomaceous earth and dump it all over the area just to make sure I kill any strays. It is the bodies of the single-celled diatom, which are found in great abundance in the oceans. And you get billions and billions of these together. And the diatomaceous earth, as the ants go through this, it's the equivalent of walking through a room filled with incredibly sharp swords and barbs. I took sewing machine oil and poured it into the cracks where they were coming in. And then I took and I got some liquid poison, which comes in a gel form. It's actually called bait, but it's a perfect poison because they really don't go after it. They don't try to eat it. And I poured it down into the holes in order to prevent them from getting in. I go out and do a perimeter check of the house every few days, especially when in the rainy season, in the autumn and in the spring, just to make sure that they haven't found an entrance into the house. So I go out of my way to keep a check on it. And I'll do it at night. I mean, if I'm like standing around outside, I'll wander around the outside of the house and do a check to see. When I'm out in the afternoons, when I'm home, I'll go and check to see the usual places where they hang out, where they go and look for food, and then I'll do something about it to get rid of them. You cannot go a single day unless it is a driving hurricane force wind and rain. You cannot go outside and not find ants outside the perimeter of this house or in the yard. In fact, there are ants crawling underneath me right now. Of course, I'm never a big fan of nature in the first place, but to have it coming into my house just annoys the hell out of me. If they were just staying out in the backyard doing what they were doing, you know, I'd let them live and there would be like zero issue. But the fact that they pour through every portal they can find has put me in a position where I'm this mass executioner. You know, I've now started devoting huge quantities of my life to keeping ants out and killing them wherever I can. And it's put me in a position with family and friends and neighbors of looking like a psychotic because I'm obsessed with killing ants. And of course I'm out there at 2 o'clock in the morning because of an ant attack, and I'm out there in the front yard and it's freezing cold. I'm, you know, got my hat on, got a big overcoat on with a flashlight and a spray bottle, and people walk by coming home from the bar seeing this. They think, well, yeah, here's that crazy old loon. So it works to a degree. I mean, I still have ants coming in. But of course, now we're fully aware that there are mice back in the neighborhood.